Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into another video of mine. Maybe I should have cleaned up a little bit better for it. It's not for those light of heart what I wanted to talk about today, but I felt like it was important to acknowledge the people involved in the little scandal that's happening at Boycrush. I know that this week model Justin Stone came forward with accusations that the owner of Boycrush, Brian, raped him, drugged him, and raped him, or took advantage of him. And as you can see in his tweets and the videos that he posted, he is very upset, and I felt really bad for the kid, and to be honest, I believe him based on my own experience working with different studios. My own experiences working with other studios, not Boycrush. I have not worked with Boycrush. With studios that I've worked with, I've seen it. I haven't seen the actual acts, but I've seen the acts leading up to those types of scenarios. I also wanted to say that this has never happened to me with any of the studios I've worked with, and I guess you could just say that it's hearsay. Like I said, I've only seen the incidents leading up. I've never actually seen the acts or participated, but these are claims made by other models that I've worked with over the years. Now, what happens is I've seen employees of the different studios, whether they be managers, people who work in production, or the owners themselves, party or consume, provide alcohol and other drugs for young, vulnerable, susceptible to danger, uncomfortable situations to get, that they could get taken advantage of. And it's sad. So these kids are trying to break into the industry. They are kind of doing these things to kind of because it is fun. I do think that a lot of these models, while they may not have come forward like Justin did, I think that they are they do participate willingly, and I think that the message is getting lost in the delivery with Justin. I think that he comes across as probably the most unlikable victims I've ever seen. And, while other models and people are really supporting him, and other models have come out and said that the same thing has happened to them at that studio, I think that his activity online shows that he's attention seeking and he's dramatic, and it just seems like he was looking for the right opportunity. And I don't know if it was consensual or not, but the videos that he posted online, I know that the owner, Brian, is in them, and the captions or descriptions that are tweeted, it seems like he was really enjoying himself. And I think that if he wants to be taken seriously, and these accusations if he wants his accusations to be supported, then he should remove this content. And it doesn't make it look true to me. I do believe him. I do think he feels hurt and taken. I believe that that this happened, actually. I'm sorry, excuse me. That I do believe that this happened. Like I said, I've seen it happen. So I believe that part. I do think that he's not taking ownership of his part that is like consensual. I do think that, using drugs and alcohol in these situations, it's while they're being pressured to do so, because they feel like maybe they're doing it with other models or people of, they feel supported, like they're going to be okay, that they need to they need to own that. And because basically saying I got drugged, and it's different when you choose and it's to take drugs and alcohol, and then when other victims who had no say in the matter. They got drugged. They didn't know. They have a drink and they didn't know that there was a drug in it. Or, next thing they know, they wake up and they're in a situation where they're like, they come to and they're having sex with someone that they wouldn't usually have sex with. Now, for example, I can own, just like lots of other people, a bad hookup or one night stand where I come out of it and I like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that, or I regret that, or I shouldn't have got messed up and maybe I wouldn't have done that. So owning the fact that you use drugs or alcohol, just because you use drugs or alcohol doesn't give you the excuse to say that someone raped you or took advantage of you. You have to be an adult and you have to say, I might regret that, but I shouldn't have done that. It's not the other person's fault. In a sense, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have sex with someone that is under the influence of these drugs or alcohol, if I provided them, or if they just willingly, you're out and about, or you're doing whatever, and they choose to proceed to get really messed up. I wouldn't have sex with them, or you have to know that you're putting yourself at risk for this kind of trouble. I feel bad for this guy, Justin, because if he's doing this as a ploy to further his career, I hope it was worth it, because I definitely don't think it's going to happen. Other studios, I can't imagine that they're going to move forward. Anyone's going to move forward with working with him. So, I mean, that's the risk that you take. These studios will bully models. If any model sees this, I advise you to be smart, because studios will take advantage of you. For example, if you say no to them, there's a good chance that you'll never work with them again. So if you don't want to work with a model, or you don't want to do a sexual act, or you're not comfortable with something and you voice that, there's a good chance they'll cut your content. They won't release it, or they won't hire you ever again. So that dynamic is something that you need to know, and it's unfair, but that's the way the business is. And I guess they can't. It's wrong, but that's just the way that the business is. They're not doing anything wrong by not hiring you because you don't want what they want. It's an incompatibility working in business. So, my relationship with Brian, I was going to work with him several years ago, and we couldn't come to, just like I said, we were incompatible business-wise. He therefore said I was a drama queen, and I said he was an asshole because he was, I don't think that just because we couldn't agree, he didn't handle himself very professionally. So I do not have a good relationship with him, and I'm not saying anything to, I'm not saying anything to badmouth him. I'm just saying that even though I have a bad relationship with him, I'm not saying the things that I'm saying because of that. Does that make sense? I'm not saying the things that I'm saying because I have like a bad relationship with Brian. I don't even know Justin. I just hope that this message just, it comes through, that people can hear my point, that they don't misinterpret it, that they understand me. If they don't like what I have to say, that's different, but try to understand me and not don't take what you want from it, even though people do it anyways. They hear what they want to hear. But, yeah, it's not coming. I'm not doing it to diss anyone. I'm just doing it to share my truth on the situation, because I do have experience. I do think it's real. I do think that people need to hear it. I do think that models need to know what they're getting into. And I do think that studios need to conduct themselves differently so this doesn't happen to anyone at Boycrush or any other studio again. So be well, everybody. All right? Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe, share with others, and share your comments. Okay? Bye-bye.